Hey guys, shooting a quick video for hopefully for training purposes on a discovery meeting. So a little bit of backstory here. We are at FLS, which is Facility Logistic Services. Called on this place a year ago. There was asked for HR, whoever might be in operations. They gave me a lady's name in HR, got her email, stuff like that. Ended up speaking with her on like the second visit. She told me that business was slow, they're in a hiring freeze, things like that. That was a year ago. So I put them on my totem pole of a priority list, kind of like a touch point strategy. And I would touch base, since it wasn't a hot lead, they basically told me they weren't in the market for growth or, in need of our services. So I really just touched base with them maybe like once a month. Didn't have any, no replies to emails. I would show up, a lot of follow-up, left literature. Come to find out this year in the spring, that lady, my point of contact, was no longer with the company. Now there's a new woman. Her name was Erica. I get her information. Now that there's a new lady here, things change. So now they move up on my touch point strategy to a little bit more important of a stop. Because there could be opportunity there. So I start coming a little bit more often. Here, after I got her name and email, I started showing up once a week. Met with the receptionist named Dolly. She's taken my card at least 2 or 3 times. I've emailed Erica a few times like, hey, I'm James, love to meet with you, things like that. So no reply, no response, but I don't give up. It's part of the game. Then one day, I talked to someone in the parking lot. And I'm just like, hey man, what you do here? And he's like, well, I'm the night shift manager. I'm like, oh, awesome. Introduce myself, let him know what I'm up to. I'm like, hey man, do you guys use temp to hire services? And he's like, yeah, actually we do. And I'm like, cool, how's that going for you? He's like, not so great. Okay, what's not so great about it? He's like, well, these guys are awful. Poor quality of worker. And then I kind of fill in some of the blanks to keep the conversation going. I'm like, don't show up, no call, no show, poor quality of work. He's like, yeah, all of that. I'm like, so how many temps do you have working right now? He's like, maybe 10. I'm like, well, how many did it take to get those 10? He's like, I don't know, 100. So obviously that's not an accurate statistic. The guy's just venting, and I want to let him vent. I want him to let me know what are the challenges, what are the negativities. And I'm like, look, I try everything I can to cut down on turnover and fix everything that you're talking about by over investigating and only sending people that match your criteria. He's like, that sounds great. I'm like, cool. Do you know Erica? She's hard to get in touch with. He's like, yeah. Look, I know we're going to be in a meeting on such and such day last week. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll show up. He's like, yeah, maybe you'll catch her. It's right around 3. Try to get here about 2:30. I'm like, okay. So I do. And when I do, Erica is in another meeting. So I then text Tommy a couple days later, and I'm like, hey man, I showed up, but she was in another meeting. He's like, okay, well, when are you going to be in the area again? I'm like, Tuesday. He goes, okay, I'll let her know you're coming this time. I'm like, great. So I show up. Dolly tells me she's in a meeting again, right? But you don't lose hope. You don't get down on it. So this time I follow up with an email. Hey, Tommy told me you'd be around, so I stopped by, but it's okay. I know you're a busy lady. I still hope to meet you one day. This time I get a response. Oh, you just missed me. Awesome. So now she sets up a meeting. I tell her, well, I'm gonna be in your area this week. Does Tuesday or Wednesday work? She's like, no, how about Thursday morning? I'm like, okay, awesome. Are there any other decision makers that need to be part of this meeting? And she's like, yeah, Steve, the GM, and Daryl, the owner, will be there at 10 a.m. with me. You can meet us. I'm like, awesome, I'll be there. Then I send the calendar invite. Then, obviously, I've already done a little bit of research. So here I am. I'm 30 minutes early. I've got my CPW blank printed out because, of course, if there's any lull in conversation, you just go right down the list of questions. I've done a little bit of research online. So what it says is you want to know a little bit about what you're getting into, right? So they specialize in storage fulfillment and custom solutions, light assembly and packaging, design, material sourcing and assembly, kitting, promotional displays and materials, pick and pack product, bundling and kitting, repacking, and sub-assembly. All stuff that we can handle. So now I have an idea of what they do. What does all that mean exactly? Don't know. But I'm gonna ask open-ended questions, and that gives me ammunition and things to talk about. So we're gonna go in there, and I'm gonna politely ask if I can film the conversation. They might tell me no, but hey, you don't get what you want unless you ask, right? So hopefully we'll pick this video up again in a few minutes, and it will be the discovery meeting with Erica, Steve, and Daryl. All right, talk to you soon. You're good. It's all good. It doesn't matter if I'm on camera or not. Just let me get my notes.
And you know, I meant to grab, the email I sent with my notes.
All right, so I saw your name and you're the president.
Yes, sir.
Is that an owner also?
Yes.
Fantastic. How long you been in that role?
I have been in this facility for 24 years.
24.
Yes, I have had ownership of the operation since 2006. It was owned by others prior to me.
Okay,
But
so
I worked for the other companies as a general manager prior to me taking ownership.
so you've been with the company this whole time.
Yeah.
And then wasn't there another lady? How long have you been in your role?
This role, I've been here 5.5 years.
5.5. Okay, gotcha. All right, and Steve, you're the GM.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So obviously, we've talked about my relationship with Tommy, met him, and I just straight up asked him. I was like, "Look, man, I'm in the staff and temp to hire game. Do you guys use those services?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, what kind of challenges are you facing?" And then he told me a little bit about what's happening on night shift. Are you guys plugged in to what's going on with the temp to hire?
Yes.
How would you describe it? How's it going?
It's hit or miss, and actually currently we're using 3 different agencies.
Okay.
Trying to, excuse me, acting as a gap filler in
Our own hiring.
our own hiring, because we're hiring off the street as well.
Sure, because that's ideal.
Right.
Obviously, you can do it on your own. I got that on camera. Yes. Now I've got some leverage.
Good job, James.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
That's going on TikTok.
That's going on
Like,
TikTok.
this sales is so good.
I
The
finally
owner.
made TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I ain't even got to the jokes yet, man.
I'm sitting next to the biggest one, so.
Wow.
That's so funny.
I haven't made TikTok.
No, I'll edit that out.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on a Zoom call. I'm sharing like a training video. He's like, what? Okay, so we're using 3 different agencies.
Yeah, we're using 3 different agencies right now as a stop filler, a gap filler. We're hiring off the street, but just trying to expedite the hiring because our machines run daily. 24/7. We've got to fill holes faster than we're actually getting applicants in. Typically, most folks are using temporary services. It's just for temporary project jobs, but these aren't. So they're still full-time work that we're looking for long-term. We're only using the agency because you all have them coming through your doors much faster than we're having them coming through ours. We're out here advertising everywhere on Indeed and, unemployment office and the colleges or anywhere else that we can get the word out. But the pace is still much slower than we would like. So we've had to reach out to agencies to help. Now, the 3 agencies that we use, it's hit or miss. There are some that are not doing good. There's some that do okay, and there's some that does good for the most part. But just like you can, it's a shot in the dark,
Yeah, you're dealing with
Individual,
humans,
yeah.
So
Because when we interview every day, we can have somebody sit here at this table and make us think they're the best thing since white bread, and then once we get them in here, we say, "What the heck did we get?" So it's
you gotta
a true
prove
science.
You gotta prove
Yeah,
yourself.
you gotta prove yourself. So we we struggle, and it's not just necessarily trying to fill the night shifts. And I know Tommy catches the brunt of it because it's just him. We have the same issues with folks that we bring in on day shift. It's just that recently we're trying to plug more holes on night shift than we are day shift. So he's catching the brunt of the issues or the concerns we're having with getting the right labor in or holding on to them. And it's not necessarily because of the night shift. Most people who are working nights want nights. It's just that when we switched over at the end of the year last year and saying we needed 15 to 17 employees, the 80% of that
Right,
was on
we
his
added
shift.
the entire shift on nights, so we're hiring like 20 open spots. Were, not right now, but, you know, and then you gotta get them in, you gotta get them trained. Our training process takes like 2 months, so it's not like somebody can come in and then just all of a sudden start being useful day one.
And that's where my next line of questioning was gonna be, is try to identify why is it a struggle? What is keeping quality people from wanting to apply and work here? How many, there are only 2 shifts?
No, we have 4 shifts, 2 shifts
4.
on nights, so we work a 2-2-3 schedule, 12-hour shifts, so we have 2 different shifts running at night,
2 at night?
2 day shift, 2 night
2
shift,
day shift, 2 night shift.
to cover 7 days.
Okay, and then you mentioned a 2-month-long training process. I looked you guys up online and I read a few things about facility management, storage, customized solutions, things. Could you tell me what are they actually doing on night shift? Well, and then I imagine day shift is the
Yeah,
same.
It's the same.
Yeah,
thing.
same thing. So one job description.
So mostly it's the manufacturing side, the machine operating. When you talk about a 2-month training process, it's all in the manufacturing side. We're running machines. The operation is machine and robot driven. We just interact in the setup and the maintaining of that process of any upsets throughout the process where the machine stops, gets stuck, jams up, and we got to go in there and interact with the machine to get it going again. But the full process from making the product to the end is all done by machines and robots.
Okay, so what are they making? Because I didn't see that online.
Yeah, because we're not to tell that online because we're making a pharmaceutical product that's a sterile wrap material, a material that is used to wrap utensil trays and utensils for surgical use in the hospital.
Okay.
It's just a sleeve that goes over a tray, utensil tray.
And
Okay.
And we don't make the finished product, we make large rolls of it that get shipped out.
No. We make the finished product. Converting makes the finished product.
Oh, I guess, okay, I'm thinking
We're
like
hiring
the
for
big,
converting.
okay,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
Never mind.
The machine that Owens and Minor runs, they make the material. The only finished product we will be making now is
the-
converting because
okay.
the linen's gone and the gown's gone, the face mask gone.
Right.
The only finished product is the sterile wrap.
So the big rolls of wrap are coming in from Owens?
Yeah, they produce the material onto a spool, onto a roll. So the process starts with pellets, small, tiny pellets that, like if you cut up in a beanbag, all that stuff that would fall out.
I've seen that.
That stuff we run into a machine and with extruder and water and a belt and everything. We flatten that out to a non-woven material. That's all done on the assets and machine operating where the Owens and Minor employees work. That is then spooled onto a roll, anywhere from 300 to 1,900 pound roll. The rolls that we get are 300 to 600 pound rolls that will go into our converting operation with the FLS employees. We take these rolls and load it into a machine, chuck it, and program it to produce whatever that SKU or that final product that we're making, because there's multiple items that we make or multiple sizes of this item that we make in converting.
Mhm.
So we take this roll, put it into a machine and program it. The machine will then pull this material off the spool, and somewhere in the machine will start cutting that material into squares. And then once it's cut into squares, the machine will start stacking these squares in stacks depending on the SKU that we're making and how many slits are supposed to be in there. Then it goes down to another area where the machine will start folding this material. and it goes into another area after it's folded, where it goes into a bag, and that bag will go into a heat tunnel, and the heat tunnel will shrink that plastic onto that folded material, and it goes into another area where a labeler will slap a label onto these bags, and it goes around to where the robot will grab those bags and put it into a box that another machine has made. Then the box comes down, and there's a machine that closes the box, a machine that tapes the box, and once the box is taped, it goes into another area where the machine will label the box. Once the box is labeled, a robot will grab the box and then take it and start stacking these boxes. Once the robot has stacked the box to this specified height for that material, the robot will then shrink wrap that stack. Once the robot has shrink that stack, he will kick it out into a conveyor, where that conveyor will then take that material to the warehouse.
That's fantastic. And so you load it, and then that whole process you just described, no human touches it from rolling it to
It should, if the
spitting it out.
process went correctly,
Yeah, if it's-
you do
if it's
not
perfect.
touch it again.
So are your guys, are they charged with the duty of not only loading it, but then watching the
Yes.
process
Correct,
happen
yeah.
to make sure there's no
Yeah.
kinks in the,
Yeah.
And if there's any kinks, they stop the machine, work out whatever the kink is, start the machine up, and let it
so
go.
the 2 months training has to do with
Understand that
Right.
whole
getting
process.
used, yeah, because if you
And you
see
don't come
something, you gotta know how to
across-
get it
Right.
going.
Yeah, you
Right.
don't
And
come
those
across
things don't come
everything
across every
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it could be months before you see an issue.
Yeah.
so there's a little bit of problem solving.
Oh, a lot of problem solving.
Yeah,
They probably get the basics in a month, but yeah, there's things that they just don't see every day, and we run so many different codes and widths of the material and they're all different.
They're all different.
The
And
setup is different.
as you all would typically send somebody in for a pick pack job, and they know they're gonna go to work tomorrow and they're gonna start working tomorrow. This is not here. You're not gonna start
Yeah.
working here tomorrow. You're not gonna start working here the week after. You won't get into the guts of this thing for about a month or so.
so bringing in people from a temp agency that stick around for a little while, learn it, and then don't work out, that is a colossal waste of time for you.
Correct.
So
Even our
that's a-
hires, same thing.
Yeah. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, and you're investing not only time and effort and manpower into training, but they're getting paid
Getting
Yeah.
paid.
in the process
We're losing
too.
a lot of money. Yep.
And when they quit, are there any type of fees? Like, how does that hurt you financially?
Just hurts.
Yeah, basically just the stuff I
Yeah,
described.
right.
Okay, gotcha. So, how many temps are you going through before you find somebody that winds up being permanent? Would you say ballpark figure, like 1 in 10, 1 in 5?
No, it's not that. Well, night shift has been a little tough because it's only been those few positions we're trying to fill. You know, what's the average lift service for our employees right now? 7 years, about 7 years. So our average length of tenure here is like 7 years. We have even 20-year employees here. So this is a place where people come to stay because we treat them well. This is family. It's a family. You know, we just sit here as loosely as how we are.
Yeah.
And this is how I am as a leader from top to bottom. I am with the employees. As a general manager, same way. They can come to us and talk to us about anything. We're not running this thing with a
Drill sergeant type.
iron fist or stick beating people across the head. So we treat them well. So most people come here and stay. It's just making sure we get the right person
Yeah.
to come in here, because typically, being transparent, we can have temporary agencies that will see a guy walk down the street a couple times and just say, "Hey, y'all hiring? Oh yeah, we got a job for you."
Right.
This dude has no idea of how to be accountable and meet expectations, do anything. Just say, "You hiring?" And say, "Yeah, we got a company who's looking for a person," and they send this body of a person here.
You used it. We call that a warm body. So I'm in this meeting. My goal is to take as much notes as possible and learn about you guys, and not sell my services. But just since you brought it up, just real quick, the stigma of staffing companies is they just send a warm body.
That's exactly what it is.
And what I try to do to set myself apart, and the reason I'm doing this video and doing a bunch of open-ended questions, is because what Allegiance does is customize our search to only what your criteria is.
And that is all we have been looking for.
Yeah.
We have one agency that got really close to that. and we thought they really got it. When they brought their team out here and we walked them on the floor, they understood, they could actually see and feel the culture, and they went back and said, you know what, there's a certain type of person that this group is looking for, and let's go get that. I think over time, when some of their folks didn't pan out, or we still have some holes, I think they kind of rushed some things. But this, all we're looking for right now, James, is to find somebody who knows this person is definitely FLS. This person will fit that family and fit the culture. You know, you can fit anybody's company. Who can fit this family? This is part of the reason why Steve and I still interview every person that you identify. You're just not going to identify them and then say, okay, we got a body or a candidate. That person's going to come here and we're going to spend about 30 minutes with them and understand who they are. And he's the general manager, so he's responsible for the hiring. I just sit back here and help him and get a feel to find out, does this person fit our family?
So since you brought it up, I'm going to skip ahead in my questions. The next things I was going to ask is, about their duties. How many of them does it take to run the machine? What are their challenges, stuff like that. But since you touched on this subject already, I'm going to skip ahead to the certain type of person that does fit in with FLS. So how would you describe that person?
Here's the deal, and I'll say it every day. We can teach you to do anything, but I can't teach you to be a good person. All we're looking for is good people, because no one, unless you've worked non-wovens before, has ever done what we do. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to come here and say, oh yeah, I can do that. I've got all kinds of machine operating jobs. You probably have sitting behind one little machine with some little bobbins, or hitting this button or hitting this pedal. But what we do in this multi-million-dollar machine that stretches from here to the middle of that parking lot, it's a colossal machine. You've never done that, but it's easy. We can teach you to do that. I just got to make sure that we're bringing in good, decent people. And that's hard to tell, because you can't read that. You can't look at the resume and say that they've had all these jobs, and you say, you know what, you look like you're a good person. It's not about just all of us on that paper. Do the agencies sit there and take the time to talk to the person? Do you fill the person out, or you say, fill out this application? Okay, we'll keep this on file. Look like, you've had some experience in lift truck driving, some warehouse experience, and some clerical. Okay, let's see what we can fit. Because I've never worked agencies, I just don't think that the agencies take the time to have a recruiter who sits and interviews a person to get to know them. They're telling us, and he can tell me, there are people who will sit at this table, and when they first start, you think they're okay. I have a way of asking a few questions and poking, and I bring the bear out, because I take the time to do that. Do agencies try to see, is there a bear in there? Mm-hmm. Or do they just have the experience? I don't want the experience, because it doesn't matter. Even the forklift driver.
So
we have multiple people come here with no lift truck experience, and because we have to train you anyway, we're going to spend the time out here to train you. And we've had some of the best lift truck drivers, never driven a lift in their life. They don't have any bad habits. They don't have any preconceived notions of how their previous company expected them to run, because you can't run like a bat out of hell here. There's only one way to do it safely. You don't get in a hurry here.
Whenever I hear examples like that, I think of Tim Duncan, who didn't play basketball until he was 18 years old, so he didn't have any bad habits. Right. But then that good person, a lot of people will describe a good person, maybe your morals, maybe your etiquette, something like that. But in this instance, we're talking about, are you coachable? Can you accept constructive advice and criticism?
And those are the questions you ask. Yeah.
Correct. So, am I correct in assuming that you get the feeling that your current provider is not really vetting these people for their skills and their personality?
At all.
Not at all.
At all.
Would you find it beneficial if an agency were to interview the person 3 times before they send them to you? Interview them in person?
I wouldn't even say 3 times, but I would say interview them.
But if we did,
if you did,
if that were, I don't know, their normal process of how they do
but I just don't know if the folks coming off the street using agencies like to go through that, because just by talking to them, they'll say it's easy and it's quick, and I don't have to work hard.
And a lot of times, I mean, I've worked staffing, so I know, like, a lot of times you can call someone and say, hey, be ready to go here tomorrow. It's not as common for you to say, hey, you're gonna interview with this company for this job, right? At least not our level of positions, right? So I think that that's a little different.
So I'm getting that ahead of myself again. Let me make it a habit of this, but that's what we do for all the people that we send.
Okay.
So anyone who shows up here and they came from me, my team has already interviewed them 3 times in person.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's unheard of.
Do you think a personality test would be helpful?
Yes.
A skills test provided by you to me, and they've already taken it before they show up.
Yes, we could do that.
Testing them for any fitness challenges. Can you step up on this step 50 times in a row? Can you lift 50 pounds over your head?
Because that's important to us, James, because safety is the most important thing. We're sitting here talking to you because we're talking about the labor, we're talking about the work that we have to perform out there, but that's all second.
Right.
To us, because we have a safety dinner today, a luncheon today, to go get our 13th in a row safety award from the Department of Labor. We are a Carolina Star site, so that says we're one of the safest companies in the state of North Carolina. We go years without accidents. For us to work 24/7 and bring in and have the turnover that we could have and bring in some contingent labor in here and still have the presence of creating that safety culture that's impeccable is amazing that we can do that. But that's the only thing that matters. A lot of folks come from production companies where they go. You can't go here. If you do, you gone. Because the first thing we do is do it safely. We only do it one way. If we can't do it at the pace we trained you, then we're not gonna get that done today.
Well, you can't have a safety pedigree like that unless you have people who follow the rules
Right.
and buy into your culture.
It's the culture.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so now let's go, and I'm gonna digress back to where we were in the job description. I mean, now that I have the person description, that's extremely helpful for me. Let's go back to the job. How many people does it take to run this machine?
3 to 5
3 to 5.
On each line,
On each,
right,
yeah.
like, so there's different.
to run a machine.
To run a machine,
Yeah.
there are 3 different machines. There are 2 that runs with 3. There's 1 that runs with about 5.
Okay.
Anywhere from 3 to 5.
All right, and so these guys, you said the rolls that they're loading could be 300 pounds? And are they using a hoist?
No, they're using everyone who comes here will be trained to drive a lift truck. So they need to want and be okay with learning to drive a forklift, because every job requires some application of it. In the converting the machine area, there's minimal. In the warehouse, it is all day. So at some point in your operation, you may have to operate that lift truck.
So the warehouse folks, where is the majority of your temp to hire services being utilized?
Right now, it's converted.
Converted.
Yeah.
All right, so they're on forklifts. What percentage of their shift?
Less than 10.
Yeah, less than 10.
Less than 10. Okay.
All they're doing is bringing the rolls, like he said,
And
turning
setting it
the
up.
rolls.
Is that the position I should focus on? Is that where you're going to use
Yeah.
our services the most?
Yeah.
Okay. So are these the 3 to 5 guys running the machine? Okay. So once they load the product, that's done that's the 5% that they're on the forklift. Okay. Once it's on, can you describe the rest of what they do? The people.
So they're basically just monitoring the machine. So, like he said, he mapped it out pretty much how it stretches the material out. So when it's after it cuts it into squares, it folds it. So we had to the machine operators have to set up the fold, and we run so many different codes that they're all different. So once they set it up, it may not actually it may fold it, and the fold might not quite be right. So when the robot picks the bag up to put it in the box, it may not go in the box all the way. So you're just looking for things like that.
Is that the most common hiccup in the chain?
It's one of them. There's a lot of
Jams,
different ones. Yeah,
material jams.
They're also doing inspections.
Yeah,
filling
and
out
we didn't
paperwork,
get to that. So there's a
and-
lot of paperwork in this involved, because depending on what we're running and how fast it runs, periodically, say there's maybe a code every 20 minutes, we have to pull a check and do an inspection to do a verification that this product is being made correctly.
Okay.
So you can't run 12 hours and it's not been right. it's not right size, not the right cuts, or whatever. So we have to periodically go through and pull something out while the machine's still running and do an inspection. And when we do that, there's paperwork we have to fill out to say that each spec, each measurement, each whatever is correct.
So when something's not quite right, they don't just hit a button and shut the machine down, it keeps running?
Depends on what's not right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if there's danger, obviously you guys are all about safety.
Oh,
so
well,
they're not sticking their hand
we
in.
have-
No.
No.
Obviously, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Can't do
in
that.
that instance, we shut the machine out and lock it up.
So since you mentioned training is 3 to 6 months, you guys are familiar with temp to hire services. They're only gonna be under my umbrella for approximately a little over 3 months.
Mhm.
So they'll be in training the entire time that they're working for you
Basically.
under my name. So what are they doing during training? Are they shadowing or are they actually performing? these
Shadowing
jobs?
for the most part. They may do some small hands-on, after a few weeks. When we say training, we're saying it takes you 2 months before you have the true gist of running this thing and somebody else not being around you when you're at this part of the machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mostly shadowing.
I mean, you're doing it, but
You're gonna do, 'cause
Yeah,
Like your supervisor or team lead is gonna be like,
you're
okay,
gonna be
here's the
buddied up with
problem.
someone working on
Now
it.
you get it out of there and fix it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So a little bit of hands-on.
Their job is way too important. The easiest job they'll ever do, but one of the most important jobs, because the material we make save lives.
Mm-hmm.
We make a material to save lives. We do something wrong, we potentially take a life. So, materials with holes in it, they can get a strike through with blood or anything. We can't.
afford that.
We can't afford that. You've got to pay attention, and when you're flipping and folding and doing inspection, you have to be looking at the sheet for defects or whatever in the process. So it's easy, but it's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we've touched on the quality of the person, the job description, what their duties are, what's expected of them. What are these folks? Since there is turnover, I'm trying to figure out. It sounds like a great job and everything like that. Why are they not lasting?
Because we have the wrong people.
one of the
We don't
biggest-
have people here we don't have good people here who want to come for good work. We just have people here who don't have a job.
I see.
People who don't want a job but need a job.
Need a job. We can have guys that come in here, I gotta get these rims for my car, or I gotta save up some money, I'm trying to get some money for my.
Clock
We
in.
had a guy trying to get money for his girl to go to Beyonce concert.
And then
You
he's
know
gonna
he had to
quit
work.
after
Then
he
he's
got
gonna
the
quit.
tickets.
Yeah.
Because he didn't care.
He just wanted a
You-
job for a
But you
little
look
bit.
at what they try to send us, this person right here had 4 jobs in 24.
Which is a
And we're in
telltale
May.
sign.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a hopper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's not.
No
working
matter
out
how
for some
good we
reason.
are, that's not what he does.
Gotcha.
He doesn't go anywhere to stay.
Yeah. One of our biggest issues is attendance.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll sit there and tell us, we don't.
Oh, no, I never have attendance. I'm never late. I'm never have attendance. We work 14 to 15 days out of the month. You got 14 to 15 days that month off. We do not, and as long as I've been here for 24 years, haven't ever had mandatory overtime. Now, we have overtime, sometimes quite a lot, but it's volunteer. So we never take time away from your family. The one thing that we try to do, have tried to do since I've been here, is to have a good balance of home and life, personal life and work. Because if you're happy at home, you're going to do well at work. If you do well at work, home is good too. So what we're trying to do is to make this to where it doesn't affect your home life, to where everything's working at home because you're not working every day and never home with your kids, and you have enough time to spend
Quality of life.
quality of life. Because I would tell them, don't chase money, chase quality of life. You gotta. That's why I got here, because where we used to work, it didn't have good quality of life.
Right.
We made a lot of money, but
Super important, and that's a lot of time off.
Yeah. So we treat you right.
Yeah.
We
What-
treat you
So
well.
what are they getting paid? Are they per hour?
Yeah, they're per hour. We pay you every Friday.
Yeah. So
Every week.
they're paid every week.
Mhm.
What do they make per hour?
Through you.
So temps make $1 less than regular FLS hires. So on night shift, they would start at 15, day shift would start at 14. When we hire them on, we give them a $1.50 increase.
Okay. Does anybody complain about it?
Not that we've ever heard.
No.
And then once you get on, you have your progression of your increases that happen every
I mean, generally there's 2 a year.
Yeah.
They're
'Cause-
eligible for a merit increase and a COLA increase.
Yeah, so we have a cost of living increase every year, and they have a merit increase.
Eligible.
Eligible.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not criticizing at all. I'm poking
And they
trying
get-
to
then they-
figure out where is the challenge. And you know, and no offense, but I mean, if you're looking for a quality person, I mean, Sheets pays 16 an hour. You know what I mean? And that's cushy. You know, you can quit whenever you want. Probably hire you back.
But
you
at
know what I
Sheets,
mean?
at Sheets, all you're gonna do is work that counter or work that, roll those hot dogs.
Yeah.
Here, you know, it's all about our employees. That's who we take care of. So I don't like promoting from outside of the street. So when I'm bringing in managers and leaders and premium job positions, I would take care of my family.
Yeah.
If you have the aptitude, the desire, and the want, we can train you. If you, because we post for leadership and positions all the time. Even our customer takes our best employees.
Yeah.
That's
So
a-
there's
that's a
so there's
big-
room to grow. Sheets, you're not going anywhere. You
Yes.
can grow here.
Totally right.
And that's like he hits on it, but a lot of our employees will come here because they're trying to get hired with Owens and Minor. So they get that visibility and, you know, get to know those guys that are on the hiring committees.
And they take my
And
best.
they take quite a few of our employees each year.
Absolutely.
They're hiring, they take from us.
And they take our best.
And I do, that sucks. And I do not bring up Sheets to compare.
Oh, no,
Uh,
we get it, we understand.
I'm not reinventing the wheel by letting you know if you get paid more, you get a higher quality person.
Yeah.
We all know that. And every company has a budget. Of course, you all wish, everybody wants to make more money. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. And, but what I'm gonna sell to the candidates is the future, your career, you're treated right. You are gonna get a raise. You have an opportunity to earn more raises or a career at a management or supervisor level. You can move up, things like that. Or maybe Owens and Minor will scoop you up and
Right.
make all your dreams come true, right? So that's,
The benefits are, the eligible benefits, when?
60 days.
60 days, once they're employed with us.
benefits after 60 days, very good. While they're under my umbrella, we have them fully insured. So they're, even while they're a temp, they can go to the doctor whenever they want. They choose a plan. It's just like if you get hired on here.
Right, yeah.
You know, okay, so when I'm looking for that quality person, because again, $15 an hour, the majority of your applicants are going to be the folks that you're used to, which you don't want. But that's where I come in as an extended arm of your human resources team, and we can spend 8 hours a day going through the resumes. So my question next is, if I am sifting through all the riffraff to find the quality people who are looking for a permanent opportunity to move up, God, where was I going with that? Oh,
Steve, yeah, go ahead.
okay, it's the quickness. It's the quickness. They might have some input on this.
I have an interview, want to jump on real quick?
Okay. Well, I was about to wrap it up anyway.
Okay.
So you're all done?
Oh, yeah.
Great to meet you.
Great to
man.
meet you,
Yeah,
James.
absolutely. Are you sticking around?
Yes.
Okay. I only had like one or two more questions.
Okay.
Just make sure there's nothing on my desk.
Okay.
So to wrap it up, basically, if I'm looking for that quality person with all these great personality traits, and they come in at 15, I'm selling the idea of a permanent career.
Yes,
Right.
because if we ever come to you and say, hey, we got a project, we're gonna tell you project,
Yeah.
and we tell you, hey, that's for 2 or 3 months. For the most part,
They're
everything
filling
is,
a position
we're filling
on
a
our org chart.
full-time position.
Yes.
Yes.
So where I was going with that line of questioning is speed and quickness, right?
Mhm.
So I want to avoid the challenges you're experiencing now. I don't want to just send a warm body who will accept 15 an hour and he just wants concert tickets and it's gonna quit.
Correct.
So if you say, I need 5 people, are you expecting those 5 people in a day?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay.
No.
We're realistic.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to set those
No,
boundaries.
and generally what we'll do is we'll just give you a heads up and say like, hey, we have 5 openings. This is what we're hiring for. We're also gonna be hiring for those same 5 positions,
Sure,
right? So
absolutely.
if you have candidates, send them on over. We'll review the applications and then set up interviews with those candidates.
And would we be communicating with you or everybody?
Me and Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky coordinates most of that, and then I back up, so you usually just keep me on there.
Okay, so
And then they
She's
get
not
those
here.
applications to Steve and I, and we review those, and then we decide, yes, this is a candidate we'd like to talk to.
Yep, so Miss
So-
Vicky will give you a yay or nay to schedule an interview with them.
So when you ask for candidates,
Mhm.
are you about how many are you asking for at a time typically?
It could be
just depends
one,
on
it could be
what we
one,
have.
it could be two, it could be, because right now I think we only have one position of it open.
Okay.
So I generally will, like, we have a weekly meeting, and I will generally try, not very good at it, but I will generally try to give like a weekly update on where we're at
Mhm.
for openings. So like right now we only have one opening, so we're not gonna be like super, you know,
Sure, right off the bat. Do you
Yeah.
have a peak season where you typically need more?
No,
Are there any trends in the industry where you're like,
Not for what we do,
no, it stays pretty consistent?
yes.
yeah,
So you're typically asking for one at a time?
no.
No.
No, we could lose 4 people tonight,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and then
Tommy can
tomorrow,
fire 4 people tonight.
He told me.
and then tomorrow I need 5 people, so.
Right.
Right, so it just depends on
So
people.
so it's not really predictable.
No.
And there's no peak seasons, there's no ebbs and flows. It's really consistent, and it just is a matter of, are these people working out, and do I need to replace them?
Yes,
Okay. So
and unless like our scope changes, like you said, like at the beginning of this year, we changed from 1 shift to 2. So
Mhm.
we knew we were gonna need 20 people, right, so.
There was a time when they came to us one day and said, we
We
need
need to
64
hire
people
65
in
people,
64 people in 30 days.
wow.
That was during COVID, when we brought, the government gave us $26 million, bring machines in here to make face masks.
Mm.
Because we already make the material for the face mask, and we send that somewhere else across the world to make the face mask. When COVID came, we had to start making the face masks, bringing the machines to make them ourselves. They gave us 34 days to hire permanent people, 64 people.
You said there was a government contract?
Mhm.
Who,
Owens
how?
and Minor.
Owens and Minor.
Yeah.
How are y'all related? Are y'all
We're just
part
a
of the
third
same
party managed labor for them.
Third
Yeah,
party
that's just,
for
we're a third party company, but we manage ourselves. So we have a general manager,
Permanent on-site
HR, safety manager, quality leaders, inventory. We manage ourselves.
And you said it's permanent.
It's permanent. Yeah.
Yeah, so y'all ain't going anywhere.
I mean, we have a contract.
We have a
yeah,
contract.
but
You know, I've had a
we've been
contract
here for
since
25
2000.
years.
Since 2000.
I've had the same type of contract since 2000.
Gotcha. It's pretty steady.
Yeah.
I think my company's been around since 2001.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Okay. So that's the process. You'll let us know if you are hiring for say 2 spots. How many resumes do you want me to send you? 4 or 2?
How many did you have?
10?
Yeah.
As many
Yeah,
as
as
you
many as
can.
you have. Yeah.
Okay. And then
And generally too, like, so say we have 2 positions, we'll schedule 10 interviews,
Yes.
right? And if we don't have a position, say we fill them, right? We interview the first 3 people and we really like them and we bring them on. And we get to interview number 7 and we love them. We're gonna find somewhere
Yeah, we might
for
find
them.
something for them because we know who's in the wings that aren't,
Right.
on the fence.
right, and we're gonna sift through them, and like I said earlier, only send the ones that match the criteria I've taken notes on. And that's how we're gonna cut down on it. We're gonna make it more efficient.
Okay.
That's my plan anyway.
Okay.
So I'd like to bring my recruiters here, and I would like, before we send our first applicant, I have 3 ladies on my recruiting team. My regional manager also sits right next to me, and she is hyper intelligent when it comes to business. I would like to bring my branch manager here and see the job in action. Is that possible?
Yep, we just have to get all names of these individuals and she'll have to get the.
Not a problem. I'll email them to Erica. I'll send a little email that introduces you to my team, and then we can schedule a day where we can come and just kind of tour. We don't need an hour of your time. We just want to. They are more efficient, and they are better at their recruiting and their job description, and it makes the conversations they have with these candidates more efficient if they have seen it happen with their own eyes, and they can
Yep.
describe it better.
We agree 100%.
Yep.
How soon can we do that?
It takes at least
at least 2 weeks,
Yeah.
probably.
No, you can do it in a week.
It just depends. I mean, this week we're in the middle of our fourth quarter safety meetings. Like we've got
is it
makeup
just
meetings.
for
Like we've got a
open
lot
schedule,
going on.
yeah.
It's probably going to be in the next 2 weeks.
In the next 2 weeks? Okay.
Like you got the last week of school. Lots of people
Yes.
are in and out. Like we got a lot.
Oh,
going
I have
on.
3 little ones.
Yeah.
It's 2. There's field day. There's
Yep.
our postseason tournaments are starting in baseball,
Awards
softball.
day. Yep. Everything.
Yeah, and I'm coaching all that. I gotta manage people going on beach trips and all that stuff. Okay,
And then,
so in
and
2
then our
weeks,
safety leader is the one who does the tour, so I got to coordinate with his schedule.
Yeah.
what's his name?
Sean.
Sean is the safety leader.
Mhm.
How often are you guys doing safety meetings?
So we do quarterly safety meetings, and that's how we do our annual trainings. So refresher training on
Job, safety, process, quality, just the
all of that.
overall,
HR, like all
overall
sorts of stuff.
refresher.
So temps are required to attend those as well.
Yeah.
They're treated just
Yeah,
like
and that's
a
that's one thing
regular-
that's important to me, is that we treat you as an FLS family member. So when you come in here, you're not gonna have
You get an
on
FLS
Allegiant,
shirt.
you're gonna wear our shirts, and you're gonna be treated just like us. No one knows that unless you tell them,
Right.
because you're gonna come in here and they're just gonna look at you as an FLS family
Right.
member.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Lock them in.
Mhm.
Like we said, part of the culture.
Yeah.
You want to be part of the team right away. That's how they're gonna end up
Yeah.
lasting. Okay, so in 2 weeks, and we'll work it out in
Yeah, just shoot
email.
me an email and
But
I'll.
is there a day of the week that you, off the top of your head, that you know is
Mondays.
normally open?
I thought you said not.
No, easier
And
to.
probably Tuesdays or Thursdays, because if we have orientation, Sean is busy on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay, so that's for the recruiter walkthrough.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I need to do, my next step is I take all of these notes, I plug them into our system, then I send it off to our insurance agency, and they give me a workers' comp code based on my description of the duties, which is basically going to be a little bit of forklift driving, and then loading a machine, and monitoring and quality control.
That's also not to say that we wouldn't hire forklift operators, because.
Yeah, because that's one thing I wanted back. I forgot, we went so fast that, yeah, we have machine operators now, but there was a time when we were looking for 7 lift truck drivers.
Right.
So
So right now, the focus is on machine operators, but that could shift this week.
What kind of forklifts are they? Are they sit down, stand up?
these are all sit down heister machines, but we do not, less than 5% of our operation is using a forklift, the fork attachments. Our main attachment is the clamp or squeeze, okay? So we squeeze the item or we squeeze the roll, okay?
Mhm.
That's our main attachment. The other 2 attachments that we use and we operate and we train on is, we have some rolls that are 126 inches to where they cannot go into a trailer standing up because they're too tall. These rolls have to be laid down. So we have a roll turner. So the other one we train on is a roll turner that grabs the roll and turns it. So it lays it down. So now it's ready to go into a trailer, but the way it goes into a trailer, someone comes on a lift truck with a pole, on it,
Right, I've
a
seen
carpet
that.
pole,
Yeah.
go in and load. So we have 3 attachments: the clamp, roll turner, and the pole. Forklift, every now and then if we're dealing with a pallet order, but we don't deal with much wood here for contamination reasons. So very seldom. But if you can operate a lift truck and you know the levers in that, you pretty much can be trained on anything.
So do you have 3 different guys, one with the clamp, one with the roll, and one
Could
with
be.
the pole, and then they're just taking turns tag teaming it, or are you getting off your
Your
forklift
time,
and changing
depending on the
it?
staffing, you may have to do that.
Okay.
You may have to be the one. You may have to be the one to go to find all your rolls, turn them. Once you turn them all, then you park that. You go get your pole truck, and then you load them.
And sometimes we have temps performing this role.
Yeah, because
Yes.
because you said temp, we don't hear temp anymore.
Yeah.
You just temp because you brought them in. They're
Sure.
they're a FLS employee.
They
So,
are the
yes,
material handlers.
They are the
Pretty
material
much.
handlers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Any other roles that you will be using us to fill?
Not likely.
No.
Just those 2? Do they get paid the same as the other guys?
Yep.
Same shifts?
Yep.
What are those hours for those shifts? I know they're
6 to
12
6.
6 to 6. for both?
Yep, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And
And,
we work a 2-2-3 schedule.
Correct, I got you.
You don't go through that?
Yep.
So it's 2-2-3, and so it's every other weekend. Most companies that work a 2-2-3 schedule, their weekend is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ours is the only one that I've heard of this like this. It's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So your weekend is Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you work Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You're off Tuesday, Wednesday. Then you work Thursday and Friday. Then you're off on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and it just keeps rotating that way.
Very
It
good.
does
And I
not
have a
change.
schedule I can send you to the kind of outlets. So
When
that's what we give our
they
employees.
start working here and they get their schedule, they can plan their vacations and everything they have from that day to the December 31st, because the schedule will not change unless they take a promotion, they change shifts, or they make a change. Your schedule stays the same.
And when, in those first 3.5 months when they're part of Allegiance, there any PTO during that time?
Paid time, no.
No, gotcha. Any sick days?
No.
No holidays, nothing.
Gotcha. What was I about to ask you? Oh, how do they clock in and out?
We have a time clock specific for temps.
Badge?
It's a time clock.
Oh, old school, just
I mean, it's
they
new.
punch it in.
It's new, but yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it's a punch
taking
card.
a time clock off, or
A
the
card.
time card off the wall and clocking in.
Gotcha.
The old school.
And then when you meet,
But it's new.
Yeah,
It's not like
new,
the
but
switcher.
we're just saying
Yeah.
old school process.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Doing that is an old school process.
Yes.
yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you're
No,
right.
I say that though because we have like a really old one that our switchers use. That's like the.
Yeah, but
It's
if you're
really
not
old.
punching or biometric, the new stuff,
Yeah.
if you take a card and do that,
Yeah.
that's old.
But yeah,
school.
it's a card. They use a
So
card.
other than attendance, other than quitting, which is obvious, what other what other improvements do you want to see out of the temp to permanent process? We obviously the quality of person, obviously.
The rest of it's easy. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you know,
What about the communication you've experienced with your current providers, or anything that other than interviewing them more, like you
Yeah.
said, vetting their skills and experience?
I think communication's good.
We like to, I like to err on the side of over communicate. Like, an email
Yeah.
doesn't cost it, it's free. Like,
Yeah.
let's just type to each other, it's like texting, you know what I mean? Feedback, let me know. The other huge thing is and I'm already assuming that we're gonna work together, I know that's how I talk, but, but once we get started, when you say, hey, I need 2 people, and we say, okay, when I have 4, when do you want them? At that point, it's crucial that we communicate back.
Oh, yes.
Because
So-
if they're quality people, they are gonna find a job unless
Yeah.
we get them in here as quickly as we can.
yeah. And
So,
soon,
so generally, yeah, like if I email you at 2:00 and say, hey, I need 4 people, if you email us at 2:04, Miss Vicky's gonna print them and give them to Dara
if
right
as soon
away.
as you email
And then
you have 3-4 candidates and you email those resumes to Vicky, she sends them right to me, and then I review them immediately to say, yes, set these 3 up, or set these 2 up, or set whatever, immediately.
And this
and
is your,
then we use Calendly so you can see our calendar
yeah.
essentially. So you would have access, like instead of going back and forth and being like, can they come at 11:00? No, can they come at 11:30?
see what
You
we
know,
have
you
available.
can see what we have available and you schedule it yourself.
That's fantastic.
It's really helped just streamline
Gotcha.
interviews.
Okay, so as I said earlier, I'm gonna get my workers' comp code. That will help me determine what the markup is, what the hours are. Do you guys have hours and markup figures that you're used to?
Yes.
Do you wanna share them?
No.
That's okay. I'll give you my best deal.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds
so no problem at all. When I get that all ironed out and I draw up the agreement,
Yep.
which is not a contract,
Yep.
it's not exclusive, it's not a promise to use me, but it's the terms we'll operate under when you do. It's our procedure that I bring that to you in person.
Okay.
We find it just works way better. I like talking in person. So much can be lost in translation on emails.
Can I have an electronic copy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The day that I bring it to you, yeah, you'll get it all in an email at the exact same time.
The only thing
can I-
that we. Oh, go
I
ahead.
want to throw something in there.
Yeah.
I know you're based out of Winston-Salem, and I know you'll have more people from Winston coming into your office, but one clear thing that we want to articulate is that we are in Lexington.
Mhm.
And do understand that from this office, it's about 20 whatever miles. Is that an issue for you? Because we've had a recent young lady who didn't even know where she was going until they sent her that email, and then she got it at the time, put it in her GPS, and found out it was all the way in Lexington. They never even told her that when they offered her the job.
So it's part of our strategy to cut down on turnover and to make things easier for you that we only send people who are gonna have a 5 to 10 minute commute.
Oh yeah, speaking of commute, 90% of the people who come in here that they send in here don't have transportation.
Okay.
They don't have a
So,
car, they don't have
and
a license, they don't have anything. So, and I get some people don't, but our biggest issue with attendance is those individuals who don't
Because
have a
that's
car.
an easy excuse.
Right,
You
yeah.
can just whenever you don't
And
feel
we're
like
not
coming.
on a bus line, we're not,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
This
there's,
is
like
you
out here.
need,
Yeah.
you need
I'm from
transportation.
Davidson County,
Yeah.
so I'm
Oh, you
allowed.
are?
I'm allowed to call it the country. Yeah, I went to North Davidson. That's
Oh,
how
okay.
I know Tommy and
Okay.
Brian.
But we have quite a few people that live in Winston. That,
Yeah, we do.
like,
Sure.
that works.
Yeah,
We
it's not
know
out
that
of the
as long
question.
as they're okay with that, but we generally
They just
don't
need to
see
know.
anything outside of like 25, 30 minutes. That's where we start seeing.
We don't want to send somebody who's just hard up for some money and just gonna accept something for a little while. I'll make that drive for now and then I'll quit.
Yes.
My entire MO is trying to avoid that for
Yeah.
you guys.
So that's a big one. We always look at the transportation, the location, but even like the hours, like the lady who was talking about didn't know until she was sitting in the chair here that it was a 12-hour shift.
She
Didn't even know.
Didn't even know
So
that.
like we just run into, lately we've been running into a lot of that. I've got some housekeeping items that I can send you, just kind of generic, this is how we do things, this is how, things go.
Absolutely.
Um,
And if you have a pre-typed
And
job
that's kinda
description that you can shoot me, or just with like the details, just to make sure my notes are accurate, because I'm not a genius. I'm not, I wasn't the greatest student, but I've got 3 pages of notes here. I try to be as thorough as I can. I want to
So
get
we
it all
have,
right.
our job descriptions are pretty generic. It's
Right.
really like our training documents that are gonna get into like the nitty gritty of it, but I can send you what we have for job descriptions.
Well, I can assure you, whoever comes in here to interview will know the hours and the pay
Yeah.
and the job description.
And that's generally, like, those are the things we can't change, right? We can't change the pay, we can't change the location, and we
Right.
can't change the hours. Like, to have to be okay with those 3 things.
Yep, and that needs to be communicated before they come here
Before
and
they
waste your
come,
time.
yeah.
Exactly.
This
it's such
this young
easy-
lady was really, really upset. It
I
was
bet.
so upset that I have to share it with you. So they text her the address of where it was. So that's the last correspondence she got from them. She got here and wasn't happy about some things she heard, but said that
Because she didn't know.
because she
wasn't
didn't
unhappy
know,
with
because
us.
she wasn't
She
happy
was
with
just
us.
not happy
She
that
was just, they
she
just
didn't
didn't give her
know.
enough information. So when she left here, she got a text from her cousin asking her, "Hey girl, how was the interview?" And her response, when she went back into the text, she responded, excuse my language, "The bitch lied to me." Talking about the young
The staffing
lady.
company.
Staff company. Unfortunately, she sent that text to this person from the staffing company who sent her the last information. She did not send that back to her cousin. So the staffing agency saw that she called her a bitch and said she lied. So that didn't go over well for her or them, but
Yeah,
nonetheless.
It was funny for
It's
us.
funny.
it's absolutely.
She called me back and said, "Well, I guess I'm not gonna get the job now because
They're probably not gonna
they're not
work
gonna
with me.
hire, they're not gonna let me come work because I messed up." She said, "I'll send you the screenshot of what I did and I messed up, and thought I was responding to my cousin, but I responded to them."
Yeah. Well, nothing on a nice smooth.
Oh, that's
apology
okay.
couldn't work out. Yeah, that's all right. We can edit out whatever you want. Okay, so when I get my solution put together, which is our service agreement, do I have to wait 2 weeks to bring it back and let y'all review
No,
it?
just shoot me an email. It's easier, so
So
part of it over there is we have to have permission to have visitors in the building.
Yeah.
So we have to go through a couple
Yeah,
channels to get
yeah.
visitors allowed in the building. So that's
Gotcha.
where, like, I need names and titles of everybody.
As
And
far as,
emails, actually, name, title, email for anybody gonna be in the building.
oh, you'll get all that.
And then.
I'm gonna introduce you to the whole
So
team.
we have to get that approval, and I
First.
just have to, first, and then I gotta get with Sean to
Get this scheduled.
get it scheduled, so.
So that's all for the recruiter walkthrough, and I totally get that. But if I just wanted to come back here and just sit at this,
Oh, yeah.
No,
and
just
just
shoot me an
spend
email.
10 minutes
Yeah.
Yeah,
doing
just
this.
shoot me an email,
Yep.
Okay.
and that's a lot easier.
Is there a day next week that you think you already know you got 10 minutes to hang out with me just and go over the contract?
I'm out Tuesday and Thursday next week,
Okay.
so not those days.
You want to do Wednesday?
Monday's bad.
Wednesday's probably better.
Wednesday it is.
Is 10 a.m. cool?
No.
Okay.
Afternoon would be better,
All right. Well, you tell me. What do you want? 1:30, 2 o'clock?
1:30,
1:30 on Wednesday of next week.
yeah.
You got it. I'll be back here. I'm gonna get everything ironed out, and then is there any other decision maker involved? Like if I come back here and the agreement is exactly what I just described to you, are you the one who signs it?
No, she'll sign with my VP of admin. I'm just a decision maker. They
So
don't sign.
I bring this up because it's happened to me before where I've gone through the whole process. The company was super excited to work with us. I was already prepared to start sending applicants, and then somebody from corporate goes, "We're not bringing on anybody new." Is there any
Oh,
possibility
no,
of that?
no, no.
Okay, so
No.
y'all are the ones who decide.
Yep.
Got it.
The only thing I will say, is, I don't know what you normally do for like your terms, but we generally do net 30 for like invoicing.
Net 30. I think I'm on net 60.
Okay, as long as it's not net 15.
I have an agreement from my last client right here. I should have it memorized, but I wanna say is 60 a problem?
No.
Okay, so we're cool with net 60.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm almost positive that's what it is.
okay.
Yeah. No, we're net 30.
Okay.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Cool.
Just making sure.
Yep.
That's like the one thing that Eric will ask
All
about.
right. That's what this one is that's not Brentag, is it? It is Brentag. If they come back to me and say 60, that's not a problem.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's just nothing lower than that, nothing lower than 30.
You got it. That's not a problem at all. All right, I think that is everything I wanted to tell you guys and all the information I wanted to get from you. So I'm gonna put it together and then I'll be back here Wednesday afternoon. And hopefully you guys will sign it on the spot and I'll start sending candidates.
Like I threw that in there.
Yeah. All right, hey, appreciate y'all letting me film this.
No doubt.
All right. All right, so after the meeting, after I turned off the video recording and broke down my tripod, the conversation went on, and I asked a few things that I forgot from the CPW, right? So, obviously they were all wearing their vests, and I confirmed, I said, so everybody's gonna be wearing a high-res vest, and they said that would just be for in the warehouse. In manufacturing, they would be provided an FLS shirt. They're gonna look and be treated just like one of the permanent hires, as they mentioned in the meeting. They will be provided with safety glasses, earplugs, and steel toe boots are required. You got to have your own at first. After you become permanent, then you'll get a voucher and that'll be provided to you for the steel toe boots. Erica also mentioned she's going to email me all those details, and then I confirmed, so no heights, we're not on ladders or high steps or anything. They said absolutely not, none of that. And then I also confirmed they're not going to do any heavy lifting, nothing over 50 pounds. And they said no lifting at all, hardly. And then of course I thanked them and shook their hands and then confirmed I will be back next Wednesday at 1:30. And I think that's very important to look them in the eyes, shake their hand and say, okay, I'm gonna see you next Wednesday. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up my rate request for Cardinal Insurance, and I'll post a screenshot of that. And then I'm gonna take from my notes, and I'm gonna come up with 3 selling points for my fulfillment, their operating reality, and the impact on business. Off the top of my head, without even looking at my notes, I already know it's gonna be, hey man, you're going through 10 hires before you find a good one. It's a colossal waste of time. We said that in the meeting. Then I'm gonna bring up the example they used of the lady who they didn't communicate with her on how to get there. One lady showed up, didn't know the hours, and she was like, well, this isn't gonna work, and it just wasted everybody's time. And then, the fulfillment, is where we do the selling. So I mentioned a few things here and there in the video, but mainly this entire meeting was just open-ended questions, letting them talk and taking notes, letting them know that I am doing a deep dive investigation to figure out as much as I can so that these candidates that we send are fully informed and know exactly what they're getting into. The entire goal is to cut down on turnover and find you quality people that match your search criteria. Okay, I'm sure I'll think of some other things to add to this, but for now, that's it.